Scientists rebuilt a face from 40,000-year-old bones. What stared back was not entirely human. The Carpathian Mountains of southwestern Romania, inside a cave system here, scientists found the oldest modern human remains in Europe. Ptera QOs, the cave with bones, discovered in 2002 by cavers who squeezed through a narrow passage into an unknown chamber. The cave required hours of crawling through narrow passages. Cave bear bones littered the chamber floor in dense accumulations. The bears had used the cave for hibernation for thousands of years. The human remains were scattered among them. The chamber where the human bones were found had been completely sealed by natural geological processes for tens of thousands of years. A natural time capsule that preserved the remains perfectly. The cave had been sealed for thousands of years. Among the cave bear bones scattered on the floor, researchers found a human jawbone. The Os1 mandible. Immediately upon examination, physical anthropologists noticed something deeply unusual about its morphology. The jaw was too robust for a typical modern human. The measurements fell between modern human and Neanderthal ranges. The chin was present, but weak. Side by side, the difference was visible. Modern human on the left, Neanderthal on the right. Os in the middle, a face between two species. The groundbreaking study was published in Nature, the world's most prestigious scientific journal. The findings sent shockwaves through paleoanthropology and population genetics. 9%, the highest Neanderthal ancestry ever documented in any individual, ancient or modern. The chin is the key diagnostic feature. Modern humans have projecting chins. Neanderthals do not. Every single morphometric measurement placed the Os mandible squarely in the overlap zone between the two species. Not fully modern, not fully archaic, precisely in between. The physical features suggested hybridization, but only DNA could prove it. In 2015, the proof arrived. Xiaomei Fu and colleagues at the Max Planck Institute extracted ancient DNA from the Os remains. 6 to 9% Neanderthal DNA, 3 to 5 times higher than any living human today. This person had a Neanderthal ancestor just 4 to 6 generations back. The Neanderthal DNA segments were extraordinarily long. In modern humans, those segments are short after millennia of recombination. Every single chromosome carried detectable Neanderthal segments. The ancestry was distributed across the entire genome, not concentrated in one region but spread everywhere. In modern Europeans, Neanderthal segments average a few thousand base pairs. Long segments mean recent admixture. This individual's Neanderthal ancestor lived roughly 4 to 6 generations earlier. A great-great-great-grandparent. Not ancient admixture diluted over millennia. A Neanderthal in the family tree within living memory of the community. Among all tested early European specimens worldwide, the Os individual carries the highest confirmed Neanderthal ancestry. No other ancient genome comes close to 9%. 9% means roughly 1/8 of the genome came from a Neanderthal, statistically equivalent to having a Neanderthal great-great-great-grandparent. The family tree implied direct contact between modern humans and Neanderthals in Europe around 40,000 years ago. The overlap period in Europe lasted roughly 5 to 10,000 years. Modern humans and Neanderthals shared the same landscape, and clearly shared more. This was Ice Age Europe, small bands of modern humans encountering the last surviving Neanderthal populations. Archaeological sites across Europe show evidence of both species occupying the same regions during the overlap period, shared landscapes for thousands of years. Neanderthal camps and modern human camps appear within kilometers of each other at multiple sites. Both species made sophisticated and diverse stone tools during the overlap period. Some sites show mixed tool assemblages, suggesting cultural exchange alongside genetic exchange. The two species were physically different, but not reproductively incompatible. The Os genome proves they interbred successfully and produced fertile offspring. But what did this hybrid individual actually look like? Using the Os cranium and mandible, forensic artists built a face guided by both the bones and the DNA. The Os2 cranium showed a remarkably large brain case with cranial features clearly intermediate between modern human and Neanderthal morphology. A subtle occipital bun, broad cheekbones. Tissue depth markers guided the reconstruction. Each pin represents the expected thickness of skin and muscle at specific anatomical points. Every tool mark on the reconstruction followed forensic protocol. The tissue depth at each landmark point dictated by published standards for the anatomical region. The DNA data informed the reconstruction directly. 9% Neanderthal ancestry meant specific features could be predicted and modeled. Digital scanning allowed measurements impossible with the original, fragile specimen. Three-dimensional printing allows researchers worldwide to study exact replicas of the O's mandible without risking the irreplaceable original specimen. As the face slowly emerged from the clay, the distinctive hybrid features became clearly visible: a broad nose, heavy brow ridges, a projecting midface, but a chin, unmistakably human, but not entirely modern. The face that emerged was human, but it carried the ghost of another species in every feature. The finished reconstruction shows a young adult with robust features. The O's mixing event was far from the only admixture event between the two species. Multiple independent admixture events occurred across Europe and Western Asia during the overlap period. Each admixture event contributed slightly different Neanderthal gene variants to different modern populations. If you combined all the Neanderthal DNA fragments retained across all living modern humans, roughly 40% of the entire Neanderthal genome still survives, distributed in tiny pieces across billions of living people. The brow ridge is the most visible Neanderthal trait. Heavier than any living humans, a feature inherited from an ancestor just a few generations removed. But the Oase individual left no descendants. Despite carrying more Neanderthal DNA than anyone alive today, this lineage went extinct. Modern Europeans carry roughly 2% Neanderthal DNA. Population replacement and turnover in Ice Age Europe was the norm rather than the exception. Multiple waves of modern humans entered, and the earliest arrivals were repeatedly absorbed or displaced. Climate instability during the last Ice Age created population bottlenecks. Most of the earliest modern Europeans left no detectable descendants in today's living population. The O's lineage is one of many dead branches on the European family tree. The O's person belonged to an early modern human population that was later replaced by subsequent migration waves into Europe. Europe was populated by multiple successive waves of modern humans. The Neanderthal DNA that survives in modern humans came from different admixture events. The O's mixing was a dead end. The genes were lost when the population disappeared. A face rebuilt from 40,000-year-old bone. The O's mandible is one of the most studied fossil specimens in paleoanthropology. The wisdom teeth are unusually large for a modern human, a Neanderthal trait. Modern humans have been trending towards smaller third molars for tens of thousands of years. Dental measurements confirmed the intermediate position: too large for modern human, too small for Neanderthal. Museums now display the O's reconstruction as powerful evidence that human evolution was not a clean replacement, but a messy and prolonged process of mixing and merging across thousands of years. Every visitor who looks at the O's face sees their own distant past reflected back. Every non-African person alive today carries measurable Neanderthal DNA in their genome. The Oase individual simply carried more. The difference between us and this ancient hybrid is a matter of degree, not kind. The differences between Neanderthal and modern human skulls are well documented. Some scholars argue the O's specimens should be classified as a separate and entirely new taxonomic category: not modern human, not Neanderthal, hybrid. The DNA settled the debate in favor of modern human with recent Neanderthal admixture. Every measurement told the same story. This individual sat on the boundary between two species. The DNA confirmed what the bones had suggested all along. The Oase discovery changed how scientists think about the boundary between modern humans and Neanderthals. The Max Planck Institute in Leipzig houses the world's leading ancient DNA laboratory, the same world-renowned laboratory that first sequenced the complete Neanderthal genome and changed our understanding of human evolution. the same team that discovered the Denisovans. The OASE genome added another chapter. Ancient DNA extraction from 40,000-year-old bones requires extraordinary technical skill. Every single step of the extraction process was specifically designed to prevent contamination with modern human DNA. The result had to be beyond challenge. With the OASE individual, it was. The Leipzig clean room operates under protocols stricter than most hospital operating theaters. Every surface UV sterilized. Every researcher in full protective equipment. Blank controls processed alongside every O sample returned 0 detectable human DNA. But the OASE individual was not alone. Other early Europeans show elevated Neanderthal ancestry too. A pattern has emerged from ancient DNA studies. Natural selection gradually removed Neanderthal DNA segments that were harmful in the modern human genetic background. The percentage dropped from 9 to 2 over 40,000 years. Some Neanderthal genes proved beneficial to survival and were actively retained by natural selection. Neanderthal immune genes still actively protect modern Europeans against specific dangerous pathogens. The ancient inheritance continues to function 40,000 years after the mixing event. Some Neanderthal variants increase risk for certain modern diseases. Modern humans kept the Neanderthal genes that helped them survive in Europe, the useful inheritance. The rest was gradually purged over 2,000 generations. The OASE face shows what 9% looks like. Place the faces side by side. The O's individual looks human, but the brow is heavier. The midface projects further. 9% Neanderthal ancestry versus 2%. The visual difference is subtle but measurable. The O's face preserves Neanderthal features that time and selection erased from modern populations. This landscape has not changed much in 40,000 years. 40,000 years of extraordinary evidence compressed into a single research folder. A jawbone, a skull fragment, a genome, and a rebuilt face that stared back with the eyes of two species. Somewhere in these mountains, 40,000 years ago, two species met and merged. The child of that meeting was buried in a cave and forgotten for millennia. If you enjoy evidence-based stories where a single skull rewrites what we knew about human origins, subscribe, drop a comment. If you met the OASE individual face to face, would you see a human or something else? 40,000 years, 9% Neanderthal, a face rebuilt from fragments, and the proof that we were never alone. The cave kept its secret for 40,000 years. The cave mouth, sealed for millennia by geological accident, opened by chance in 2002. And inside, the face of a moment when humanity was still being written.